big guy. Well, thanks. Good to hear it from a priest.
All right,
This will
fuck
be
this up.
well, we'll read 2 more, and then we're going to have to call it a night. I'll read everything else tomorrow, I promise. But it's 10 o'clock. It's 2.5 hours. Going to have to cut it off somewhere. So I'll read these last 2. I promise I'll take everything tomorrow. Bob the Builder says, half Japanese Nicker here. Any thoughts on Native Hawaiian independence movement?
Him and Kurt.
Is Hawaii even a real state? Only 25% whites.
Kind
be part of the nation if we win or be released to Japan, China.
There's got a lot of
I don't think they'll be independent anytime soon. We're going to have to call it tonight. I'll read everything. Is it a real state? Well, what does that even really mean? I mean, legally, yes. Is there any other way that a place is a state?
Nick Fuentes
will be a part of the nation if
off,
we win or be released? That's such a
ranting
silly
and raving
question.
about
Japan? Why would we give
Charlie
it to Japan?
Kirk.
China? Why would we give it to China?
Bay where he was trying.
He
had him barred for
this is our last one. Another wishful zoomer says, white pill after white pill this month. Got to keep the momentum going. Keep up the great work, big guy.
Mic off.
Well, thanks. I'm a big fan of this account, by the way. Another wishful zoomer. I see your stuff on Twitter. Very based, very good content. I've retweeted you a few times. But we're gonna have to end it on that note. 10 o'clock, like I said. We'll take everything else tomorrow, but there's just no way we're gonna finish all this in a timely fashion.
Sorry about that, folks.
So we'll take the rest tomorrow. I promise. Want to make everybody
Nick Fuentes
comfortable that that's gonna happen. But that's gonna do it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. Remember to check us out.
Good old source of power.
We don't have premium anymore. Working on that still. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Give us a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Click the notification bell. To get notified every time I go live. Remember, we are on the air Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Nicholas J. Fuentes, as always. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our super chatters. Thanks to the Groypers. Thanks to everybody that watches us. Everybody's a part of this. We love you. And we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, have a great rest of your evening.
In the morning and roughly around 8 o'clock. Really shitty opinions. Total Zionist puppet. It's unreal. How? But let's go to an important subject today. It's okay to be white. The objective of Halloween is to put as many it's okay to be white posters out. So, and on here, spreading out the word again. It's okay to be white posters are going up again, August 31st. Media freak out. We'd be even crazier because of my white nationalism, terrorism, and quote. Get ready for print posters, get your costumes, spread the word, let's do this right. And also a big fuck you to the guys that shit about shooting up the last thread guy that's deleted. What a fucking Discord tranny. I humbly agree. And we're going through this. I'm gonna large this shit for you. So you guys can see it on screen if anyone's actually paying on this. This is how this works. This is how the stream works. And now he's done. Hang on.
Mic off. Mic on.
One problem with my place is not soundproof, so you hear people like easily talking through them. I know that family-wise is just a little loud. So on October 31st, this Halloween, in like 2 days, we need people to print out. If you're into this whole pro-white, reclaiming the majority and challenging the JQ and the Zionists to power. This would be the good strategy to get, cause a TiVo and give massive amount of whites group awareness and what's going on with the situation, that they're under attack. And clearly anti-white hatred. It's spewing all over this. Like, I keep checking this, but I shouldn't. I don't know how to properly stream transition without fucking key command, so I'm learning how to use this. This sprawl for the poles. OP need use cross-link in the thread and bump into sliding shills. The thread was, yeah, that's true. And then Janny's wood 404 it. Let's go down. Seems like to be the same and bumping this, but this is a really important because October 31st is the easiest way. You can go with costumes. You can go face paint. Yeah, should do in the white areas. Like, especially people in New York and California should be really putting these posters because these are heavily diversified locations that are being heavily impacted by the overflow of mass immigration displacing the white population as we currently speak. So, uh, like this on like in his situation, I live in in an extremely white and very leftist area. There's some diversity in it too, so it provides great contrast. And it's okay to be white and pro-white actions in general. These people get twisted out of their gourds. They even march around screaming about white supremacy. Sometimes you'll never know if your area will freak out until you give it a try. Try this. Note a few high traffic places in the community that's quiet time of day or night and put up a poster or 10. You can also leave flyers where people can pick them up and read them. Wait at least 48 hours to drop to see if the local news has picked up the story. If it takes time to get the reporters to the scene, if you ever see the story where someone pranked a non-white professor and has been reported about 48 hours, it's probably a step to get more diversity of bucks and attention. Which is probably that. France is not 90% white. I'm sorry, Anna. You may be American, but goddamn. Give me 5 posts in this. A couple of times. Let's see what Anna got here. Tape. Ooh. He's got the goods. It's okay to be white, guys. Remember. That's what want you being white. They're just jealous of what your forefather has done. And give me 1 minute. Brief break. I need a drink.
Mic off. Mic on.
Alright. I'm going to smoke some a little bit. If you're here with me on this late hour. I've been up for optimal. Okay. Whatever. It's not a big deal. I need to change that. Let's see with this. I need help with my plan. I'm in high school. I'm 18 and not underage before someone wants to report me, and I still live with my parents until I graduate. But I don't think they want me to walk around all night by myself, even if I have a reason. They would probably want me to stay with them and my sister. What should I do? My full-out plan is simple: sneak out at 3 in the morning, hang them up then. Depends on how controlling your parents are. That's true. And should play in your own schedule, but preferably with we can get a lot of traffic because it'll be harder for them to catch you during that. At between 1 and 3, they're looking for people, like especially in like New York, California. They're really patrolling. Some red states are more anal than we are over here, but still, it's not. The cops will be out in force. You will be fined and shit, so be careful. No violence, please. We don't need this bad rep on us. And let's get at that, my. Just occasionally checking on. That's what the live streaming of YouTube looks like in YouTube Studio. If anyone's ever curious, that's what the screen would look like. And no for competition, for attention. When you're trying to get a reaction to your message, you have to consider not just where you place, but where you are against your local community. The papers and TV have all kinds of wild stories about murder, money-making ventures like new apartments, foreign people, and governments being very disobedient, etc. Your simple action might not move the needle unless you employ a little craftiness. You must be provocative and outrageous. If you expect your flyer to compete the wild nature of real life, if you leave a message for the local white self-hating idiot, you might give him a case off of the Mondays for a few weeks. If you leave the message where the diversity activists get, you might get them screaming angry protests of white supremacists and now social justice workers can't identify it and they're forced to indict all white people and it drives them with hate, fear, and rage and shame, grief all at once. And then start blabbing nonsense and get scared to leave their dark caves after a while. Huh. Oh, what is this? Oh. It's 11:11 currently at this time of the stream. Anyone's coming in, I welcome you. We're just currently browsing poll and plotting how we can make It's Okay to Be a White event on the 31st a possibility if anyone's actually interested. I know no one's really like looking at the streams, but I hope. But we'll see. I don't know if this is including me, but I appreciate if anyone's actually following. And now back onto subject. Here we go again. A friendly reminder for a big sticker effect to check out. Whoa, ouch. For fun, if around the liberals, use Okay to Be White stickers on cars and lots of bumper stickers. Pretentious driver won't probably notice for a while with all the other stickers. Will drive around red pilling or triggering people behind them in a traffic light. Be notes to them. Anti-vandalism or road rage gets the person targeted by account of the sticker will red pill them on liberals on that they are kicking their asses or damaging their car. 4. They will forever associate the attack with the words "okay to be white," which will associate their emotion, resentment, and feelings of inadequacy with this thing being openly defied, so they're just scared to stand up to. Big win. Elitist booing. Pretty sure vandalism, man. Assuming you're not caught on camera to get vandalism charges is it's funny destruction on property, which is true. It's kind of both someone's Kia car and scratched up the sticker. Well, that's a good idea, but be careful with vandalism because you do get caught, you're basically screwed. And this is the thing. My main concern with this is what everyone keeps bringing up. It's okay to be white meme. Well, that's the meme. It's the pathogen of memetics. And would it be actually effective? Because several tries, I did get a little stirs. I think Islam is right about women's more effective because it gets a lot of people stirred up and little double think. They're like, wait a minute, no, it's semi-right. But we'll never know. We'll see in the true campaign. Let's see. Oh, let's see what Paul Joseph Watson has to say about this, gentlemen.
We're fighting a campaign against leftists, socialists, and globalists who want to return to reckless wars, open borders, rampant crime, and totally disastrous one-way trade deals. We're changing that one around very quickly. They believe America is the world's piggy bank, and that your tax dollars should subsidize the economy, military, and defense of every other nation in the world but our own. It's not happening anymore. Our political opposition made its fortune selling out our nation and its citizens, and you know that's what's been happening, and that's why 2016 was so important, and that's why 2020, I can never say it's more important, but you know, it's like the roots of a tree. You plant a baby tree, it's got to catch. Get that extra time. We'll have more tax cuts. We'll have even, I'll tell you what, we have rebuilt our military. What we've done has never been done before.
They had President Trump talking about how important 2016 was and how important 2020 will be. You know, one of the main reasons why he won, or why his base was so energized, especially online back in 2016, was the power of memes. In fact, there were studies done into the effectiveness of memes, one in particular by University College London, which found that the most effective memes spread in two places back in 2016 to help propel Trump to victory. One of them was the subreddit, the Donald, which of course has since been quarantined by Reddit. And the other one was, of course, 4chan. Now, in the months and the years since that time, we've seen Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter try in a myriad of different ways to crack down and censor political memes. And when we get back, I'm going to explain the latest offensive on that front. As 4chan itself prepares to relaunch their "It's okay to be white" stunt, we're going to talk about what Twitter is doing to once again censor and ban memes. Wait until you hear this new language that they've come out with, which is blatantly targeted towards banning memes. This is the Alex Jones Show, live breaking news at Infowars.com. We'll be back. We're live, and there's a headline up on Summit.news, a story that I wrote yesterday, which ties into this whole effort, this affront to ban memes, which is restarted in anticipation of the 2020 election. Headline, 4chan trolls planning to relaunch It's Okay to Be White stunt. Of course, they first did this back in 2017 as a way to troll the media and progressives into revealing the fact that they are, in fact, the true racists, which you saw again with the election of Canada's first black president, Justin Trudeau, last night, who, of course, is the number one black-faced enthusiast across the entire planet. Progressives re-elected him. He's got a minority government, but he has been re-elected, proving once again that they don't care if somebody is a racist, so long as that racist is on their team. Well, that's similar to what 4chan did back in 2017 when they tried to highlight the bigotry of the left by posting these flyers across major cities and campuses that merely say it's okay to be white. Of course, if anyone is triggered by that, if they have a bad reaction to it, it only shines a light on them. It only puts up a mirror to their face and reveals their own anti-white bigotry, because in essence, they're saying, no, it's not okay to be white. Well, now 4chan trolls are planning to repeat the stunt in order to force the media into generating a fresh moral panic about racism. So a bunch of posts which are featured in this article have appeared on 4chan over the past week or so about these posters, and it says that they're going to try the same stunt again on October 31st, Halloween, and try to cause a, quote, media freak out. They say that it should be even crazier this time. They're encouraging people to print the posters, to wear costumes, to plaster them everywhere. And in fact, another post that appeared on 4chan was about an unnamed school which has already alerted students and faculty as to the prospect of these deadly posters appearing on campus. Yes, the deadly, dastardly threat posed by pieces of paper with words on them, because, of course, in clown world, everything is a hysterical dog whistle to racism now. Many have commented the stunt is particularly cunning because it forces the left to adopt the ideologically bigoted view that it isn't okay to be white, thus revealing them to be the actual racists. That is the power of this meme. And we had a story out of Emmaus, Pennsylvania last year, where they had an absolute freak out after these posters appeared in a few places across the town of Emmaus, Pennsylvania. They were called a distasteful act of vandalism. And in fact, one resident, or I think he may have even been on the board of the council there, Joshua Westbrook, told a local news agency, quote, I mean, we're surrounded by white privilege nowadays. It's just a fact. So it is completely racist to say it's okay to be white. So they're actually preparing to pull the same stunt once again on October 31st, because that was a very powerful meme. You can judge that it was a powerful meme by the way the left, by the way the media reacted to it, of course, completely falling for the bait, as they did with the OK hand sign being another dog whistle for white supremacy. Well, now we have this headline. And I'm going to preface it actually before by flashing back to a headline we had on Infowars from May: Instagram to fact check and remove memes. And that is when Instagram announced that it would begin fact-checking and removing memes. They would be using 52 global fact-checking partners. Even though memes aren't even supposed to be factual, they're satirical illustrations or cartoons mainly, to censor false photos and memes on its platform. That was happening back in May. And as I wrote in the article at the time, quite why memes have to be fact-checked at all, given they're almost always satirical and are not intended to be statements of fact, maybe a mystery to some. It's actually not a mystery at all, because even a Vice write-up of a study by the University College London found that the most effective memes in 2016 that helped propel Donald Trump to election originated in two places: the subreddit The Donald, which has now been castrated and quarantined by Reddit,
mic, so forgive
and
me
of course the poll forum on 4chan. And then you had BuzzFeed lobbying Twitter to ban a meme which made fun of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You had Facebook announcing the deployment of a large-scale AI program called Rosetta, which would, quote, automatically proactively identify inappropriate or harmful content in images on social networks. The left can't meme, so it's so much easier to ban memes, and academic studies have proven that those memes were really successful in energizing Trump's base, helping him build that enthusiasm during 2016, which is why the left, the progressive networks, are in a blind panic about the power of memes. Remember, on Twitter, they were banning people. In fact, that's why James Woods was suspended. I can't recall if he ever actually came back to Twitter after this, for posting a satirical meme which encouraged male Democratic voters to stay at home during the 2018 midterms to allow women to express their voice. Of course, that's a joke. Making them stay at home would make Democrats lose the election. That's a point. It's a joke. But Twitter and Facebook then embarked on a program of not only taking those memes down, but suspending and banning users who posted them. I remember I was suspended back when I had a Facebook account before they banned me entirely for being a dangerous person, suspended for a month for posting that very meme. There's a war on memes because the left can't meme, and because memes are entirely effective and dangerous to their agenda, because they have no sense of humor, because they're permanently walking on eggshells, petrified of offending anybody with humor, which is why they're so terrible at memes. We have this headline out of nationalfile.com. Twitter gears up for meme ban ahead of 2020. They announced yesterday, Twitter safety, keeping everyone safe, that for everyone's safety, because they really care about you, they will soon be limiting, quote, synthetic and manipulated media, otherwise known as memes, on the social platform. Bear in mind, that's not just memes. When they say manipulated media, that is anything that they claim was manipulated by the political right to negatively impact Democrats, progressives, the left. You will remember the Jim Acosta hand slap, the infamous hand slap against the White House intern back in, I think it was November last year. They had an entire media narrative. I had personally faked a video of Jim Acosta slapping down an intern's hand, or at least sped it up, or manipulated the footage to try and paint a different narrative. That wasn't true. Never manipulated the footage, stood by that from day one to the end. Didn't matter. They claimed it was manipulated, so that's why they're doing this. Synthetic and manipulated media is any media that they claim has been altered, so then they can immediately remove it before it goes viral. Now, yes, obviously that includes deep fake technology, which many people have said is a threat to democracy. Yes, that will get removed. But again, it's this broad brush. It's this pushing the boundaries. What is deemed synthetic, what is deemed fake news. Beforehand, they never said they would remove, quote, fake news, because fake news is entirely subjective. You've seen how many times Snopes gets it wrong because they have a biased, partisan left-wing agenda. Fake news to some people is reality to other people. Doesn't mean there isn't fake news. There is. But again, it's degrees of variation and it's degrees of subjectivity. So, of course, this is going to be abused to ban memes. Article continues.
And white unity
after Donald Trump's unprecedented 2016 victory
into Europe, maybe
against Hillary Clinton, against mammoth odds, most right-leaning Twitter users have witnessed a severe backlash in the form of censorship and shadow banning on major social media platforms. But now Twitter has announced, and this is their quote from Twitter Safety yesterday, what is synthetic and manipulated media? It's media that's been significantly altered or created in a way that changes the original meaning, purpose, makes it seem like certain events took place that didn't actually happen. That describes memes. That describes the Nickelback video where they held up the photograph and it was Joe Biden and his son doing corrupt business dealings with Ukrainians. Twitter took that down as a result of a claimed copyright violation, but that would fit entirely into this new definition of manipulated media, when of course it wasn't manipulated. It was a satirical meme meant to make a point. Now with this new announcement, that gives them carte blanche to ban that precise kind of thing. Infowars.com, don't go away.
We're fighting a campaign.
No, I don't want to restart. So, basically, okay to be white is very important. We need to get the message out there. Hopefully it'll trigger some NPC whites who are not too political. Or some are aware it's going on, because it's gotten so bad to the point even Joe Schmo, who doesn't talk politics, brings it up once in a while. It's ironic, because I was at one of my local bars, and this very nice woman, not like I said, no names, brought up what the current state of this country, how living, barely making enough to live. And openly automation, even though her field did not very unlikely for automation to take over, but there is some automated machines that are capable of doing her job, and very skilledly, like it was a real beyond a real person. It's also technically digitized. There is on the local level, even amongst the whites, and even some non-whites are kind of when is Trump get deport the legal? Seriously, this is getting fucking out of hand. And it's just, we need and I agree with Murdoch. I mean, I haven't seen the latest episode. I mean, yeah, you might not making a quick, rapid impact now, but you at least throw as many wrenches or gunk up the cogs as much as possible before it breaks down and implodes on itself. That's what we need to do. And the okay to be white posters was the first good step to wake up all the maybe we'll jog the non-whites noggins and give them waking up to the fact there's open hatred from other races, and including from their own government, for the people they vote for, to better their interests, openly targeting them and their race, and openly out to seek and more like beyond seek, more like hell-bent drive to have them destroyed. Every single one of them, as a group, as an individual, man or woman and child. They're having fucking pedophiles coming to your fucking schools, sitting down with your fucking kids and drag and tell them to chop their fucking dicks off and cut out their tubes. It's getting to the levels of extreme that we shouldn't be in. We're beyond a Walmart apartment. I don't know. Hopefully, this kind of, marketing, viralness, and memetics will help us push and wake the white masses, and hopefully before it's too late, because we're roughly losing our ability to be able to vote the way we want, and we're going. It's really possible. There's a really good chance by either Trump's gonna win 2020, but what's gonna happen in 2024? If he's not able to keep demographics under control, you're gonna see a drastic shift, not just in the left and regular centrist demographics, gonna start slowly inch towards for well, even more so than it normally has in the last couple of years, even Obama. A far left fascist, probably gonna be proto-communist. It's gonna be communist. It's no doubt about it. If the demographic changes at its current trend, it's like do it's that fucking quick. It's not even. It's about 11 years from now. A decade. You'd be surprised how much shit can drastically change in just a short span of 10 years to two. Not even 2 decades. Like 10 years within our lifetimes. You're gonna see societal collapse. You know, and that's just in 2024. By 2023, all hell's gonna break loose. And let's see what we got here. We got something on Turning Point. We're gonna switch topics for a minute. Turning Point, cuckery, and cuck servers in general. So Hunter, Ava Cuck, and Charlie Kissinger simp for big tech and fuck off Nick. See who this fucker is. Conservatives call me out, client. I am not surprised. Turning Point is a legitimate right-wing organization that turns people conservative and gets them to our side. Nick and his nigger squad, or whatever he calls them, are bad optics. He actually pushes people away because they make right-wing conservatives off as unhinged and faggotry. Despite relentless attacks, Charlie managed to stay poised and composed. In the end, Turning Point 1, Nick Fuentes 0. Oh, oh, that's a bit. Uh, Yeah, this Adam's got it right. Turning points conservatives what drag queens are to women. Not a thing. Not women. Not conservative. They're literally neoliberals in disguise trying to subvert us. This is only going to be an hour stream. It's another half an hour. Life moves on. Everyone has, real life shit to tend with. Uh, and hopefully soon. Hour. Life moves on. Everyone has, real life shit to tend with. Uh. My voice sounds like shit, I know. It's like unusually nasally. For some reason, women like my voice in person. It's weird. But, we got a good post here. The money we send to Israel to buy our weapons, the aid packages we send to Israel actually boosts our economy and is a win for all parties involved. As for the shitstick comment, bad optics and a hard no for me, dog. Oh, get the fuck out. Fuck all foreign aid, first of all. We shouldn't be giving any to Europe. No offense to our brothers in the homeland. But you guys need to learn how to be self-sufficient. This is what got you in the mess in the first place. Don't get me wrong, we did too, but we're dumb boomers. A lot of Jewish subversion throughout the years have really, taken the toll. And, yeah. It's pretty bad, But what are you gonna do? It is real concerning. And I gotta mess around with this because I don't got much hard drive space on this fucking. So doing a live stream is really interesting because you're not exactly sure what you should talk about. Like I gotta start planning this stuff out a little ahead more, and work on my intros because like I know I keep saying like that's totally degenerate. It's really hard to put something to get like this together and get something as big and many like possible views like Nick Fuentes or anyone else. But like, it is what it is, though. There's really not much we can do. And I'm gonna try. And I'm gonna try writing more podcasts in the future and actually put some content down, because right now I'm just sitting on shitty poll threads. So there's really not much. This chaos in Chile, pretty much. The president has dissolved parliament there, so it's basically breaking down to anarchy. We're gonna have JF in the background here because we're gonna criticize this house. Tune in just for a little bit and see. I don't know. You guys can hear this too well. Skip ahead.
I'm queer. I'm all the left-wing stuff. Except I see the reality of this plan, and I don't, I haven't got that Kool-Aid coursing through my veins here. It's not my religion. I can pay attention, learn, and change my point of view, and that's exactly what I've done.
All right. So Agenda 21, is it a term that the opposition to this movement gives it? Is it like a conspiracy theory, or is that a label used by the defenders of this agenda?
Yes to everything. That's exactly right. Unfortunately, I've been labeled, of course, a conspiracy theorist. This is a conspiracy. It is a conspiracy fact. It ain't no theory. And Agenda 21 is an actual plan. It is if you go to Wikipedia and you check it out, you're going to be seeing that it's a non-binding voluntary plan that 178 nations plus the Holy See agreed to in 1992. Yes, it's non-binding. It is not a treaty. It's soft law, but your government has made it binding on you. All governments have made it binding. Do not show me that Wikipedia thing. I don't want to look at it, because it's designed to distract you. It's designed to tell you that I am the conspiracy theorist and there ain't nothing to look at here. Just keep going. Don't pay any attention to her.
What's wrong with Wikipedia? Neutral, stay-at-home editors. What can go wrong?
Yeah, right. They told me if I tried to change it one more time, they were going to send a lightning bolt through my computer and kill me. I'm waiting for the shock.
Eminent domain.
All right, so Agenda 21, and there's an increasing tendency of countries submitting themselves to global authorities for no reason. Why do countries get into these deeds?
Just a Wikipedia page.
Golly, I'm glad you asked me that. It's like, why? This is the big question. People say to me, well, why would a government want to give up its sovereignty, erase its boundaries? Does that make sense? No, it does not make sense unless you're a globalist.
Check out family background. I'm trying to see.
The plan is actually to erase your national boundaries, to destroy your individual sovereignty and the sovereignty of your nation. And the people who agreed to this plan were globalists. George H.W. Bush, Mulroney in Canada. This was John Major. These people are globalists. They are not loyal to your nation state. It's about erasing the nation state, creating regionalization, mega cities, and then mega regions, ultimately destroying the entire nation state and creating a one-world governance, not a government governance. You will have no input on it at all.
All right, as a reminder to our crowd, if you have questions for us tonight, you can join us on Entropy.
In 2005,
it is my favorite platform for Super Chat, and tonight our survey is Agenda 21st a communist agenda? Now we can ask this to our guest, and the audience will give its input on this. Is it a communist agenda or just a globalist one?
Led her with her partner.
That's such an interesting question. But anyway, yeah, it's of course the initial plan was actually launched
Too
in, let's say,
challenging,
in
fraudulent
the
basis for
1800s. The
huge
Fabian
gateway
Socialists.
redevelopment project. The city, in an
It's a
attempt to block
combination of
care for
Marxist
exposing the project,
socialism,
removed from the
Fabian
neighborhood
socialism,
in
and
which Kerr
capitalism.
and the Turkish
Really,
properties were
ultimately,
located
because
from
like
the
all of these plans, it's
redeveloped
not
area.
really about
I
protecting
don't
the
want to keep reading
individual.
this,
It's
but
really about completely taking over the state. You're free within the state, within the the boundaries of the state. So it's an international plan.
Who are the
Current
players
and Torkud
under
fought
this? They're
on,
not
however,
elected
not wanting to
officials,
ban
I
the
guess.
thousands
So
of
they are
business and property owners still in
professional
the area. They form a business and property owners
international
association
document
and a
writers of
non-profit
some kind, I
organization for
guess.
citizens of Santa Rosa against redevelopment
I
law
know, yes,
abuse, and were
amazingly
able to
enough, they
nearly
are
raise
elected
500,000
officials.
Oh yeah.
donations
Yes,
in
they
pro
are
bono
elected
legal work
officials.
and
Yeah.
sued the city
They're,
Santa
this
Rosa
is your
to stop the
government is
project. The
doing
court
this to
case
you. This is why people are like,
Tucker
why
versus the
would the
city of
government
Santa
want to give
Rosa
up its
lost in
its sovereignty? I
lost in
mean, this
Superior
doesn't make
Court,
any
but
sense.
the court ruled
But
they would continue and appealed in
basically,
San Francisco
the
First
plan, the way
District
the
Court
plan
of
works
Appeals, where
is
they
it's a
lost again in
standardization of
2009.
all
3
systems.
years
It's
of
a
litigation fighting
harmonization
eminent
of all
domain and
systems. It's
redevelopment
actually
project
a
succeeded in delaying the
corporatocracy. It's a
project
totalitarian
while the economy
corporatocracy being
collapsed.
erected
The
right
city
now.
has failed to
And the
implement
way
its
it works
plans, but
is
if
that
redevelopment had been ended
corporations,
in California in
non-governmental
2012, the power of
organizations,
eminent domain over
and
the
governments join together to create this sort of
1,100
impenetrable
acre-yard
element
area
of
until
control
2018.
that
So basically, she's fucking
is sort
useless.
of
I don't really
designed
need to read
to
anything
give
else because
secrecy to
it's all Agenda
government and to
21 shit,
give
which
the
is basically
power of the
displacement
government
and
to
sap our
corporations.
industries of oil,
And this
base
is how it
product,
is through
petroleum, pretty
mega
much most
corporations. Right now, you're
lifeblood of
seeing
the planet,
these
not just
incredibly
the United
diversified
States.
mega corporations
Allows
that
most
are
of the modern world here,
mega
even
monopolies, actually.
the
And
shit
this
that
is the
JF
this is the new age. This is really
and
what
this
we're
bitch
looking at is
Rosa
full control. You're going to be free to
is
consume anything
able
you
to
want, but
stream
don't try and
into this
say
room right now
anything that
on
we don't
webcam.
like, because you're going to be deplatformed and probably eventually jailed.
So,
So,
are there ideological,
I
forcible
don't.
items in there? Are we forcing people or preparing some form of propaganda?
What?
In Agenda 21, are there items that
Seems to
force
be a
some sort of
slow
ideology that push
I don't know
climate
if this is an
activism?
individual
Is
playback on the
there
current
an education
users,
of
but
children
whoever's
being
listening,
planned in
thank
there?
you and
Okay.
appreciate you.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, look, the way
But
this
whatever.
thing works,
But yeah,
it's a
she's all about the Agenda
standardization of
21
all
shit.
systems.
So let's
So
tune
those
in again and
systems
start
include
hearing
law
Brent and read
enforcement,
that.
they include educational system, the system of control. It's a control over all inventory and control plan over all systems and all elements of the planet. So it's, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, human beings, information, energy, education. It's a full plan. So of course the climate, the whole climate thing, the whole climate change thing is a propaganda thing through the schools. The universities, it's K through, postgraduate. And this entire plan is taught sustainable development. It's not about protecting the planet and, recycling and, all that stuff. What it's really about is destroying your ability to dissent, to making it so that individuals are not able to express themselves, and to actually terrorize the populace so that we move willingly out of the rural and suburban areas and into the urban areas where we can be more easily managed, controlled, and surveilled.
It's quite amazing because it seems to me that if there's one thing that's sustainable, it is family life in distant areas. Everyone cares for themselves. People are much more self-sustainable. If there's one thing that doesn't look sustainable in the long run, it's how we stack apartments above apartments in big towns. And at this point, the communists are in the metro and the trains, and they're complaining that I'm spreading my legs too much. They call it manspreading. That doesn't seem viable in the long run.
Yeah, well, of course it's not. It's completely unsustainable, the whole plan. But what it is it's the biggest propaganda plan in the history of the world. This, they've got all the jargon. They're really running it, and they have all the children. And those children have been indoctrinated now for at least 20 years. They're adults now, many of them, and they're teachers. They're teaching your children that we're destroying the planet. You're seeing your entire social system upended. And, this is what the gender uncertainty thing is about. This is what inundating nations with refugees is about. This is about, all of that is part of this plan. It's mainly a data collection and surveillance plan.
Well, that's an interesting thing you mentioned, the gender confusion, because earlier you said you were queer, so I assumed you were pro-LGBT. Are even the queers now shocked at today's world and the way we treat gender in young children?
Baby, I may be a dyke, but that does not mean that I have lost my mind, okay? I mean, LGBT, that's enough already. How many letters do you have to add on there? I mean, I am considered to be like, an uptight white man.
Properly gassed in Minecraft.
According to the whole LGBTQI and the whole rest of it. I'm just a lesbian. So what? And a white one. Although, I have my other ethnicities, which are my own damn business. But, this is what's going on with plan is that gender confusion. I mean, even the things that it seemed impossible to be uncertain about. This is about, okay, look, check it out. This is the way you can think about it. You know what Mao did during the Cultural Revolution?
Oh my God!
And during the Thousand Flowers campaign and the Great Leap Forward, he was willing to destroy the old system. This is what this whole plan is about: destroying the existing system. In order to transform, you have to destroy the existing system. And that's what Mao did. He was willing to have millions and millions of people die in order to destroy the old system. And that's what that's where we're at. Hey, if you white man spreading your legs in the metro, that's just too bad. You shouldn't even be on there anyway.
All right, we have a question on this. Philip L. says, are the Chi-Coms, as Alex Jones called the Chinese communists, in any way involved in Agenda 21?
Well, they agreed to it. They signed on to it, along with 178 other nations. And the Chinese actually were working with the Americans to develop a sterilization vaccine. Back in the 90s. I don't know how far they got with it. But, this plan is about reducing populations. It's about, hey, your social credit score that the Chinese are creating now. This is coming soon to a theater near you. I mean, this is like your life. You aren't worth it. You know what? Your data is more valuable than you are.
Mm-hmm.
And this is about changing the system of value. This is about changing our value system. So you're going to see that we're testing. We are actually, it's an experimental era where it's a social experiment with data collection. We're testing human behavior on a grand scale right now. That's what's happening. We are moving into the control phase of this inventory and control plan.
I saw that you were talking about the effects of these sustainable development policy on property, and I think that's one of the things that communists are after. They want to undermine property and come to an understanding that is very leftist in nature, this idea that everything I have is actually to the community and belongs to them. And I've had an experience where I had a land and I wanted to build some stuff on the land, but I had so many permissions to ask, and they had to take so many measures that they would make a case eventually that I can't build my own home on my own land because it wasn't respecting the measures for the sewer system and everything. Anyways, is this part of what Agenda 21 will result in, that people's land are not even their own anymore?
Yes, absolutely. The plan is a land use plan as well.
What the?
And you're Canadian, you're in Canada, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to, and this is for everybody who's listening, if you go to our website, which is Democrats Against UN Agenda 21.com, go there and in the search box, just put your country name. And for Canada, for example, put in Canada right up there. And you're going to find lots of stuff about Canada, and you're going to see where you can find it in Canada. Basically, you don't have to look far. All you do is put your country name in and sustainable development, and you're going to find all of your plans, your land use plans that are designed to restrict your use, to get you out of your, get you off of the land and into the big cities where you can be more easily managed, controlled, and surveilled. And that's what's going on. Environment Canada, you're not going to be able to develop your property. You don't own that land. You don't own that water. And you have literally, you will lose your rights to use your land. I wouldn't own land right now if you gave it to me.
All right. Howard Beale was asking, is this just a plan, or has this been implemented at all? I think that your answer clearly indicates that it was. Total Grim says, why is the UN acting in direct violation of their own guidelines for what constitutes genocide?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me just answer that first question, which is, I think a very good question, because people think, well, this is not really happening now and it's not really happening here. This is a global plan and it's implemented locally. That's really important to know. So yes, it's out there. People think, oh, it's out there. It's the UN. I don't care. But no, this is right in your town. I don't care how small your town is. It's right there in your town. And yes, of course, it goes against guidelines that the UN has for itself. None of that stuff matters. All of those things that you read that, we're peacekeepers and all of that. This is really about capacitating with the United Nations, by the way, to transfer our military capability to the Blue Helmets. And, I know that all this sounds